This is 5 weeks, and 5 weeks of really essentially not campaigning, although I took a big lead in the polls over the last few weeks. Something's going on. Because I think the people of this country see that this is a rigged deal. It's a weaponized deal.
Former President Trump awaits a verdict, so does the rest of the nation. Meanwhile, President Biden was on the trail campaigning in Pennsylvania. Nancy Cook and Tom LoBianco join us now. Nancy is a senior national political correspondent for Bloomberg News. Tom is a national politics reporter for 24 Site News. Great to see you both. The politics of the trial. I want to run a theory by the both of you, get your response. For 5 weeks, as the trial has gone on, the country has essentially been presented early 20th century technology, transcripts and pastel drawings, while Trump gets to move and speak using the medium of the current era. Do you think that has played as a net advantage? I ask you both, Nancy, then Tom.
Sure. I mean, I think the Trump campaign has been plotting since the fall about the way to turn this trial to their political advantage. They don't like it, but they have had a whole campaign strategy around merging the courthouse with the campaign rally and trying to make his appearances outside of the courthouse like a rally. And he's done that. We've seen him address spectators in the morning, in the afternoon. They've really tried to make it so that he can frame each day's news and so that he is sort of the last word because there's no cameras in the courtroom. Right.
And Tom, it doesn't matter the degree of falsity, which often riddles through the things he says about the trial or the process or his rights or what he's being denied or et cetera. He still gets words up against transcripts and drawings.
Yes, I mean, we had David Pecker on the stand telling us how they just made up these stories whole cloth in 2016.
Confirming all sorts of things that were denied in the moment in 2016. Believe me, I was there, and I got all the furious, forceful, you go yourself denials.
Yes.
Now it's all true, all established.
Yes.
On the record.
When they text you and say it's BS.
Actually, it's true.
It reminds me a lot of before there was Roger Stone, there was Roy Cohn. And this is what Roy Cohn tutored him on.
Right. Deny.
Yeah. And it's a circus. It's a spectacle. And they're running laps around the legal system. Politically. Yes. Still awaiting the verdict, clearly.
I want to run something by you. The Wall Street Journal had an interesting story today about Elon Musk and former President Trump spending a lot of time on the phone. Some close to Trump suggesting that if he's elected, and that's a big if, he might find some room for Elon Musk in an advisory capacity. Let's recall something that Elon Musk was asked and said about Trump in a different era. Let's play that.
Do you see any similarities between you and him?
I mean, there aren't zero similarities.
Do you support him?
I think there are some things that I think are good.
Very fine news program, 60 Minutes. Sounded hesitant then. It sounds he's like less hesitant now. Tom, any sense of this?
He's come into the Trump fold more and more increasingly. I mean, remember, it was just about a year ago where they had that terrible launch of the DeSantis campaign after he had taken over X.com, Twitter. And he was full on in DeSantis' world. But, this is concurrent with a lot of the billionaires coming back into the fold for Trump. Saw the story about Steven Schwartzman coming back, and a lot of the people who said they were never Trump, they could never support
after January 6th, could not come back on the reservation.
Yep, coming back.
Now, Nancy, the gate appears open and they appear to be walking through.
Yeah, I would just sound a note of caution, though.
Please.
Because, the DeSantis campaign, which I was covering quite closely, really was waiting for a check from Elon Musk for months. And they thought that they would get one because he hosted that Twitter Spaces, as Tom said. And they felt like they had an in with him. That check never arrived. And so the Trump campaign does not have a check from Elon. What they have now is, Trump is speaking directly with Elon Musk. I confirmed that this afternoon. He is, there has been some chat about an advisory role for him if Trump won the White House. And I think that they have some things they talk about in common, like, the space program or EVs, but I would just, he's not a donor yet. I think that the Trump campaign is looking for money and they are on the hunt for money and they see Elon as someone who could be helpful to them in innumerable ways.
And both of these Trump and Musk are pretty adept at the negotiation and giving letting people draw false inferences, if you will.
Right.
And that's according to your reporting where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have met in Florida. They met at a fundraising breakfast. I think that they're talking on the phone now. But, I will just wait and see if the check actually arrives or if it's just more of like the two of them sort of talking on the phone about some tech things.
Tom, there was a story in Politico this week about the freak out factor within Biden world. That's an overused term.
Yeah.
Freakouts in May don't amount to much in a November election cycle. How would you assess the mentality or the bottom lineness of the Biden campaign?
Well, you have seen Biden in particular start to turn up the heat. And, today in, battleground Pennsylvania, his home state, going out there, in a way that they were reticent just a few months ago. And going out there, I mean, he had this quote where he said, imagine if it had been black folks storming the Capitol on January 6th. What do you think would have happened then? And, he made a joke about maybe Trump injected the bleach and it's still messing with his brain. So he's.
Turning up the heat, possibly because he's feeling some heat.
Yes.
See what I did there? Nancy Cook, Tom LoBianco. Thank you very much for your time.